So Damian, welcome to the Netherlands. It's not the first time that you've been here. So how are you enjoying our country?
Very much, and I've been before in Amsterdam, and I came one day to Denver too, but I came back in 2011 to kickboxing training at Mediro Gym with André Manar because we have a friend in uncommon, Pedro Rizzo, was a UFC fighter. And I always, once you come here, because I know about the kickboxing in Holland was always famous, all the great fighters from here. So I came in 2011 and I spent like around 3 weeks training here.
Okay. So how did you notice your evolving in kickboxing? Have you noticed a lot of improvement when you were here?
Yeah, I think when you travel, especially when you travel for training, it's always worth. You learn a lot, not just about the techniques, but about life, about everything. I remember I was like trying to do a hit with the knee, like a knee kick, and I was talking to Andre Manar, and I said, "Yeah, that's hard." And then he said, "My friend, life is hard." So that's something that I learned that day. Not just the techniques, I learned a lot of techniques, but there's something that make me think that I always been a fight that looks for challenging improvement. But in one point, I think in that phase of my career, you relax a little bit and start to say, this is kind of hard. Let's try something else. But then you come back to you understand that you're making some mistakes and you come back. You're able to come back when you're listening something like that.
Okay, cool, cool. So what do you think about the Dutch level of jiu-jitsu?
I just came here, which is one academy of Hickson, one affiliate with Hickson, and of course, I couldn't expect. I could expect for sure that would be like very good in jiu-jitsu. Like I saw the level of the guys; they're very good. Because for me, I see when I come to academy and I see the level of jiu-jitsu that I see is like how they do the basics. The students do the basics. So if the student have a good foundation, I know the academy is good and the professors are good. And in this academy, uh, I think because of the lineage, the basics and the foundation are very good, and so the level is good.
Well, let's talk a little bit about MMA. You've been in MMA for a very long time, been in the UFC for a very long time. You're a veteran. What are the biggest changes that you've noticed in the past years?
There's so many changes. When I started in the UFC back in 2007, when I started in the event, I fought the UFC for the first time. Was totally different. The company grew a lot, evolved and changed. It's it's changing all days. Some things are getting better, some things are getting worse, but it's life.
Yeah, of course. So you're known for being like most of the respectful guys in the company, actually in MMA in total. And these days, the trash talking it's a thing right now. And does that affect you if
No,
somebody trash talks to you?
no, I don't care. I think and I don't judge. Also, I think if you like to trash talk, it's up to you. I think you gotta, of course, have some boundaries and limits that you cannot cross. But if you wanna, it's your way to. It's your way to. How can I say to make people look to your fight and look to you? It's okay. That's no problem. It's just not my way because I grew up as a martial artist. Since I was a kid. Even before jiu-jitsu, I was doing martial arts, and so it's something that is stronger than me. Even if I try, it's hard to be a trash talker. So, I think everybody has his own personality, his own style, and that's it.
Do you think that the media pays too much attention to the trash talking as well?
I think they do, but I think if you just keep doing the trash talkers, I think the sport will reach a certain point and it's not gonna pass that. I think to have like a real sport, I think first you gotta value more the athlete instead like the promotion of the fight. I think that's the first thing. Promotion is important, but it's not the first thing. And second, I think to reach all kind of audience, you have to have all kind of personalities.
Okay, that's great. So you have a degree in journalism yourself. If you can give some advice to the media, what would you do differently than people are doing today? What advice could you give
I think
to the other media? Yeah.
there is great MMA journalists nowadays and great interviewers, and I think if I was a MMA journalist, the thing that I would avoid is like very like common questions like everybody asks, like how was your preparation for this fight, and how was the camp, and who were the training partners, or these kind of things is something that is just always the same, and I think it's not interesting. But when we have a conversation, we talk about histories and other things that happens in your life, and I think that's much more interesting and makes a journalist make a work much better than just do the real just common questions.
Yeah. So I'm afraid I have to ask you a common question now.
No, of course there is common questions that need to be asked, but sometimes you talk for half an hour just
The same
common questions, same
yeah.
questions, and there is interesting questions to ask for everybody. And just if you research a little bit the guy, we will see it. So, but some guys they just stuck with just all like common questions. So
Yeah.
you gotta have a balance.
Okay. So you probably expect this question. What's next for you? Do you have a fight plan? Do you have anything coming up?
I have. Of course, I wanna fight, but we don't have nothing planned yet. And my manager Eduardo is talking to UFC. Let's see what happens. I'm very relaxing now because I'm training, but I'm also giving seminars and traveling, and my life sometimes is as much work as when I'm training. When I'm not training, because I have the academy, the teaching, my affiliates, everything. Some fighters, they are just fighters, so when they are not training for a fight, they are just relaxing. For me, sometimes I work even more, but it's more relaxing because when you train for a fight, you go twice a day. It's very intense, but for your mind, it's very stressful also. But in terms of volume, I think I'm working even more right now.
That's great. So if you look at your division, you're at the top right now. No one is calling you out. And everybody's respectful. Why do you think that is?
I think my game, and everybody who tries to apply jiu-jitsu, if you do that, really try to apply jiu-jitsu, you're gonna have a hard game to beat for maybe 85 or 90% of the division, and people know that. They know that there is some people that I know that everybody that I fight, it's an even fight. Everyone that I fight, I know that I can win, I can lose, but maybe 90% of or a great part of the weight class, they know my game is not good for them. So of course they try to avoid, because I fight different than other fighters, and it's hard to find a training partner doing the same thing that I do.
Yeah, I talked to Darren Till as well. And I asked him, who do you think is the most challenging? And he mentioned you because of your style, and he said that he really respects you, but he's not afraid, but he's very like.
Yeah, it's not about be afraid. It's
No.
like some people I know is a bad matchup for me. He knows some people are bad matchup for him, but I'm very proud he said that, and it's very nice when you start to get people come to you like fighters and talk that they like your style, they like how you fight. I was in the UFC summit last year in Vegas, and what make me very happy is that the respect that I had from a lot of fighters. They came to me and said, I like the things that you do, this style, this technique, blah blah blah, and the behavior and how you do that technique, and that's very nice. When you from your peers, when you have your peers admire you, it's very nice. But also, in the other hand, I think I'm getting old.
Well, you're not the youngest one, but you're still at the top. You're still
Yeah.
at the top of your division. You're now this age, and you can probably go on for a couple more years. Do you think that has to do because you have a jiu-jitsu background and not a kickboxing background?
I think both. I think one reason. I think there's few reasons. It's not just one reason. I think my jiu-jitsu background protect me a lot of the heavy hits and this kind of thing. A kickboxer depends the style. I think if you like a kickboxer that just go to war all the time, you're gonna be hurt, of course. But if you like more like Anderson Silva, more technical and moving more, I think you're more safe. But it still is kickboxing. The goal is to hit, and you get hit sometimes. In jiu-jitsu, goal is not to hit, so sometimes you don't get hit. That protects you. One thing I think is how you take care of yourself, the food and the sleep, and your mind also, the stress how you deal with stress. I think that's one part. And also maybe a little bit of genetics also. And yeah, that's it.
If we think about, let's say, way in the future, what are your plans after your MMA career?
Yeah. So I like you said, I feel pretty well. Even I'm just turned 40, I feel like pretty well. So let's see what's gonna happen in next fight. But I think I have at least one more year to fight, or maybe two. I don't know. But after that, I think one thing that I've been doing lately that I like it very much is documentaries from Brazilian TV. I did a couple. So I did one. One was just about my life, was very nice. But the other one was about. Actually, I cannot tell yet. But we travel to Egypt, we travel to Greece, and we're gonna travel to Brazil and to maybe in the future to India, China. It's very good, and it's very very well produced. So it's something that I wanna keep doing. These kind of things. That's one thing. The other thing is taking care of my affiliate schools that I have in the United States and Europe now. And the seminars is something that gives me a lot of pleasure, because it's two things that I like most, which is like teaching and being involved with jiu-jitsu and jiu-jitsu community and traveling.
Yeah.
So seminars for me is one big thing, but there is many things. Sometimes I think about do a podcast, because I listen a lot of podcasts and I like. So
What is your favorite one?
in Portuguese or in English?
English. I don't know Portuguese podcast.
English. No, but yeah, there is many Portuguese or Brazilian podcasts that I like.
Yeah.
In English, the ones that I listen most is the Joe Rogan, Tim Ferriss. There's other guy named James Altucher. Yeah, basically are those podcasts.
The top ones.
But I don't watch fight. I don't listen about fighting.
Yeah.
Even when I listen Joe Rogan's, I just listen the other guys.
Yeah.
I never listen the fighters, because it's too much. It's something to relax, and I don't wanna just think about fighting all day.
Of course, of course. Last question. As you said, we're in the Netherlands. We're striking people, and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is a little bit under the radar right now. What can you advise to people to get to know the sport better so they can understand it? Because nowadays they're talking about it's just hugging, and they don't see the technique behind it. What can you advise to people that don't know a lot about the sport to do to get invested in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu?
You mean people who doesn't train?
Yeah, just like
I
fans.
think Jiu-Jitsu is if you see in this way that I'm gonna tell, it's a product that sells really easy. It's so fun to train. It's so nice, and it's so interesting that if you think it's just come for a training, and give the chance for yourself for training 1 month, I'm sure 90% of the people never gonna leave anymore because it's so addicting. And you know, and plus it's a self-defense, it's healthy, you know, keeps you health, put you in a good shape, and you learn about other things because jiu-jitsu is a culture, not just, you know, the Grace family, they create something that is not just about the sport but also about the how you eat, how you behave, everything. So, and plus the just the martial art is so interesting, and it's always new things, you know, people inventing new things that I'm sure I saw a lot of people who say, I don't like just hugging and just, you know, be with other guy hugging each other, it's not so fun. But as soon they step inside the mat or the tatami, you know, they're never gonna leave anymore. Most of the people.
Thank you very much, and hope to see you soon in the octagon and in the Netherlands again.
Thank you very much, and you're gonna see me soon in the octagon and in Netherlands too.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.